Hello my bookworms, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Sydney, and welcome back to yet another book haul. So hey, what's up? How are you? I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me for a little bit. It's actually been a minute since I've done a book haul. I am going to be talking about a couple books that I wasn't going to talk about because I was like, surely I've talked about them already. And I don't think I have. Not in a book haul capacity, at least. It's been 2 months since my last book haul. A whole 2 months. But that being said, it's happening again today. Let's get on into the titles that I have acquired in the last 2 months. Looking at the stack, I have a couple special editions. I have quite a few thrifted books, some gifts, as well as a lot of titles from my local indie. I have now arranged them in stacks, and I think we're gonna start with the gifts. This first one is from one of my patrons, Barbara, and she sent me The Sundown Motel by Simone St. James. Let me not cover up Buggo. I'll hold it over here. It's not every day that she shows her face. I remember that during our reading sprints over in the greenhouse one day, this author came up in some discussion we were having, and I had mentioned, oh, I have not read from them yet. Which one would you guys recommend that I start with? And a lot of people mentioned The Sundown Motel. So I went ahead and just added it to my wish list so that I could remember to think about it later. And Barbara actually just got it for me, which is so freaking sweet. Thank you so much again, Barbara. This one is a thriller. In upstate New York, 1982, Viv wants to move to New York City. And to help pay for it, she takes a job as the night clerk at the Sundown Motel in Fell, New York. But something isn't right at the motel. Something haunting and scary. That's in 1982. And then in 2017, Carly has never been able to let go of the story her Aunt Viv, who mysteriously disappeared from the Sundown Motel before she was born. Carly decides to move to Fell and visit the motel, where she quickly learns that nothing has changed since 1982, and she soon finds herself ensnared in the same mysterious mysteries that claimed her aunt. Oh, that sounds really fun. I really love a dual timeline situation. Even if we don't follow the 1982 timeline that much, I love that it is something that happened within the story, and it will obviously be brought up quite frequently. And obviously a lot of my patrons seem to love it, and I'm excited to give this author a shot. The other gift is from one of my patrons, Heather. The absolute sweetest, she sent me The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle. This is one of her classical favorite books, and I have yet to read it. So naturally, she bought it for me. And she said, if you don't like it, you better lie to me. This one says, the unicorn lived in a lilac wood, and she lived all alone. So she ventured out from safety of the enchanted forest on a quest for others of her kind. Joined along the way by the bumbling magician Schmendrick and the indomitable Molly Grew, the unicorn learns all about the joys and sorrows of life and love before meeting her destiny in the castle of a despondent monarch and confronting the creature that would drive her kind to extinction. And it has a new introduction by Patrick Rolfus. Can he finish his series too? That would be great. That's exciting though. I actually also didn't know that that introduction was there. Very fun. I think this sounds really nostalgic in a way. I love that the main character is a unicorn. I love the adventure aspect of it, and I love this cover a lot. So again, thank you, Heather. I'm sure I will have a great time with it. The other one is a gift from my mother, because if you have watched the book shopping vlog challenge video that I did with her for Mother's Day, then you know that she bought for me The Princess Bride by William Goldman. A very classic tale. I've seen the movie countless times. I've never actually read the book, and one of her books that she chose for me in that video was The Princess Bride because she knew that I loved the movie. And it's actually a really nice paperback. Obviously a very nostalgic thing. I think that it would be a lot of fun to read it, even for a video, trying to see if the book lives up to the hype of the movie. Kind of like a flip-flop, you know, like normally the book is better, like 99% of the time. But I wonder if this book will stand up to the hype that is the Princess Bride movie. So that would be super fun for me to see the differences and whatnot. But yeah, I'm excited to have it. Let's do some special editions. The first one is the next Brandon Sanderson project of 2022 or 23. I don't know what you want to consider it. Let's do 2023. The second project that Brandon Sanderson has released this year, and it is The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England. Okay, and I need to say this out loud. Very few people agreed with me during the greenhouse reading sprints, but I'm going to put a picture up here to plead my case. This little image here with this guy is giving Nightmare on Elm Street. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I dare you. I can't unsee it. It is all it's the only thing I see with this cover. But regardless, this is the same very soft leather as Tress of the Emerald Sea. When I opened the box, I was very surprised by it. It seems very like silly and whimsical. So I'm excited to see what it actually holds. The back says, we here at Frugal Wizard Incorporated, trademark, are committed to providing you with the highest quality experience possible, available to any true wizard for a reasonable price. We provide the fun, you provide the body. body. And then if you hear running, Avi's like chasing her tail behind the couch. There's a little asterisk next to provide the body, and it says, and the money. Don't forget the money. Also, we mean your own body, though we don't ask too many questions. That sounds so fun. Like it makes me giggle already. Like it seems like it's going to be another one of Brandy Sandy's where it's just a lot of fun. Do I know much more about it? No, I don't know like anything. Look at these illustrations, please. Like, and there's a bunch of like different sort of burned edges in the other, I don't know, parts of the book. Look at this cute little thing. What is it? I don't know. I'm just really excited to read another book by Brandy Sandy as always, especially if it seems like it's gonna be just like a good old silly time. Another special edition, these are both from Fairy Loot. This one is Shanghai Immortal by A.Y. Chow. This cover, really beautiful. The sprayed edges, obviously absolutely stunning. As always, oh my god, I love the little clouds so much. Look at those little clouds, wow. And we all know, very fun. I didn't know that this was vampires. She has a vampire tooth, for sure does. So this is vampires? Love the end papers. Ooh, I hadn't even seen this before now. I didn't even investigate this book before now, and it's stunning. Wow. Look at that. Wow, what a time to be alive. So pretty. And then this back end paper as well. Wow, stunning. It is vampire. It says half vampire, half fox spirit, all trouble. Pawned by her mother to the king of hell as a child, Lady Ying, we've gained another pet. She is half vampire, half hulking fox spirit, and all sasshole. Oh boy, I don't like that word. As the king's ward, she has spent the past 90 years running errands, dodging the taunts of the spiteful, pillaging courtiers, and trying to control her explosive temper with varying levels of success. So when she overhears the courtiers plotting to steal a priceless dragon pearl from the king, she seizes her chance to expose them once and for all. With the help of a gentle mortal tasked with setting up the central bank of hell, she embarks on a wild chase for intel, first through hell and then mortal Shanghai. But when her hijinks put the mortal in danger, she must decide which is more important, avenging her loss of face or letting go of her half-empty approach to life for a chance to experience tenderness and maybe even love. Ooh, it says it's in Jazz Age Shanghai. That's super fun. I hope the word sasshole isn't used too much because everything else in this sounds like it would be right up my alley. And then the last special edition is In the Lives of Puppets by T.J. Klune. I still have not read anything by this author. This edition is absolutely stunning. I haven't necessarily decided whether I'm keeping it or not. It's beautiful. All right, it is really a beautiful book. The end papers, of course. I just know this is a Pinocchio retelling, right? Inspired by the adventures of Pinocchio and the Swiss Family Robinson, In the Lives of Puppets is a masterful and heartfelt fantasy adventure. Here, even a family assembled from spare parts might become whole. Like, it sounds really, really sweet. And maybe I should give it a shot. Maybe I'll probably give it a shot before I actually like put it on my Pingo books, because it's signed as well, which is super fun. I just like have a weird feeling about Pinocchio. I don't know. I think I went through something as a child with that movie that like I've repressed. Because whenever I think of Pinocchio, I don't have the greatest feelings. So that's why I've been putting it off. But it is a really pretty edition, so it's likely that I'll give it a shot before anything else. Okay, earlier I mentioned that I had an indie bookstore haul. I have 2 indie bookstore hauls because I forgot that I went to a bookstore while I was on vacation this past month. Well, this month. Well, I guess last month by the time that this is airing. But in June, went to a vacation in Manistee, Michigan, and hit up a local indie there. I think it was called Brilliant Books, and I got a few titles that I want to show you. The first one, I already own a copy of this book, but I have the hardcover and the other cover of this book. I've been wanting this cover of this book. So now I can keep this one and sell my other one, which I am so content with. I just have always adored this. It's All's Well by Mona Awad. The colors are beautiful. It's such a dramatic cover, very fitting for what the book is about. In the story, our main character is Miranda, and she works at a school where she helps with the theater department. Maybe she runs the department. I don't really remember, but she's trying to put on a Shakespeare play, All's Well That Ends Well. Much to her students' dismay, she overrides them. They want to do Macbeth, but she is determined to put on this play. And that's when she meets 3 strange benefactors who have an eerie knowledge of Miranda's past and a tantalizing promise for her future. One where the show goes on, her rebellious student gets what's coming to them, and the invisible, doubted pain that's kept her from the spotlight is made known. This book has really good and deep chronic pain representation, so be aware that that is in here in case it is something that is hard for you to read about. And just in typical Mono Awad fashion, it is super strange, a little bit fever dreamy at some points. Not entirely sure what goes on 100% of the time. And it is such a ride. I love this book. The next one I got is Page Boy by Elliot Page. This is his memoir, which I was literally on the hunt for. Going into bookstores on this vacation, I was looking for this book. So I was really excited to see it. They only had like 2 copies left and I was able to snag it. Ooh. I've heard mixed things about how this memoir is written in terms of like it jumps around a lot or something like that. And I don't read a lot of memoirs, so I don't really know what to expect particularly, but this is an actor who I love and would love to hear more about. So I'm excited to just read from his voice and hear about his experiences. So regardless, I'm very happy that I have this. It's also one of my favorite covers of the year. The next one was very excited to see it because this is another one that I forgot I got stickers and the stickers are in here. Oh, look. So cute. Sorry, this is one of those books that I saw it out in the wild and was very excited. So I just picked it up. And I didn't know it was so short, which is very appealing. It is The Dangers of Smoking in Bed by Mariana Enriquez. This is the same author of Our Share of Night, that really cool cover with the hand, the chonker, I wanted to try to read the smaller one before I read the big one. I don't know, maybe I won't. But I do want to read both of them because they both sound really cool. Also, if you can see it, look at this little skull on the spine. Wow. Look at it. Very cute. It says, as terrifying as they are socially conscious, the stories and the dangers of smoking in bed press into being the unspoken. Fetish, illness, the female body, the darkness of human history, bracing urgency. Written against the backdrop of the contemporary Argentina and with a resounding tenderness towards those in pain, in fear, and in limbo, this collection is Mariana Enriquez at her most sophisticated and most chilling. So it's a bunch of little short stories, and I have not read a bunch of short story collections and I'm very excited to experience it from a new author, a new voice that I haven't had before. Plus the cover was just so stinking beautiful. This next one, if you saw my mid-year book freakout tag, then you have already seen me kind of chat about this book, but it is The Divine Comedy by Dante. I have, I think, like 2 different editions of this and I have yet to pick it up or really understand it entirely what it's all about. But I had to buy this one because it has the bind up of all 3 of Inferno, Purgatorio, and Paradiso, and it's just so beautiful. Look at the spine and tell me that it's not perfect, because it is. And this back cover, wow. Like everything about this book, besides the deckled edges, which I'm just choosing to look past, is perfect. I love it a lot. I love a bind up so that I don't have to stress about like, which ones do I read first? Where do I go from here? It's all here. It's all right here. You know what I'm saying? I keep almost dropping this. I gotta put it down. And next I have a little haul from my indie bookstore here. And then after this, a different indie bookstore here. But first, this one. This one's from Tomorrow Bookstore, which is my favorite in the city. I've chatted about this book a couple times on my channel, but never again in like a book haul sense. It's What My Bones Know by Stephanie Fu. This is a memoir of healing from complex trauma. The cover is what won me over. It's absolutely beautiful. I know Cindy really liked this book, which put it on my radar. And I know it's going to be a title that I have to be in the right mindset for, so that's what I'm waiting for. Maybe I should just try to read it slowly and not all in one bite, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if I'll ever like be in the right mindset. I think it could be really powerful and I think it could be something that I learned from, so I definitely want to read this. The next one was a cover by 100%. Have never seen it anywhere, but it was sitting on the front table at Tomorrow Bookstore and it felt like I couldn't walk away without it. This book felt like if I didn't buy it that day, I would be thinking about it to this day, about how I don't own it. I don't know if anyone else can relate to that, but I bought it. It is The Skin and Its Girl by Sarah Cipher. One, that name is stunning. Sarah Cipher. What, do you want to be next to me? I'll just move my life around for you. So, The Skin and Its Girl. The Skin and This Girl. Mwah. I know, I love you so much, you little stinker. The synopsis is quite long in this one, so a brief little introduction is a young queer Palestinian American woman pieces together her great aunt's secrets in this sweeping debut, confronting questions of sexual identity, exile, and lineage. It's a searing poetic tale about desire and identity and provocative exploration of how we let stories divide, unite, and define us, and wield even the power to restore a broken family. It has a lot of my favorite buzzwords like queer, sexual identity, and lineage, as well as poetic and searing. Like searing and poetic written together is like almost always a vibe that I really enjoy. I really do love a story that talks about lineage and who we are, who we become because of who has come before us, sort of thing. I love that exploration. And this cover, again, it sounded right. It sounded like I needed it, so I bought it. camera's gonna die. At the same visit, I got The Last Word by Taylor Adams. This is his newest thriller, and it is about Emma Carpenter, who is living in isolation with her golden retriever while house-sitting an old beachfront home on the rainy Washington coast. Her only human contact is with her enigmatic elderly neighbor Deke, and via text with the house owner's Joules. One day, she reads a poorly written but gruesome horror novel by the author H.G. Cain and posts a 1-star review that drags her into an online argument with none other than the author himself. Soon after, disturbing incidents start to occur at night. To Emma, this can't just be a coincidence. It was strange enough for this author to bicker with her online about a lousy review. Could he be stalking her too? As Emma digs into Cain's life and work, she learns he has published 16 other novels, all similarly sadistic tales of stalking and murder. But who is he? How did he find her? And what else is he capable of? I feel like this is a really cool idea, especially because there's been a lot of issues with book reviewers and authors kind of clashing when the book reviewer will come out with a negative review and the author is angry about it, which, depending on how it's worded, you know, I understand that it could be upsetting, but book reviews are for readers. You know what I'm saying? So this is kind of taking that topic and making it into a thriller that could be really a real thing. And I know I loved how No Exit was written. I haven't read Hairpin Bridge yet, but I do know that I enjoy Taylor Adams' writing, so I'm excited to pick this up. And then finally, I got Little Eve by Catriona Ward. This cover's awesome. And if you know anything about me, you know this is one of my favorite authors. Everything I have read by her has been either a 4 or 5 stars, and I just always love how short the synopsises are too, because you can't know much before going into her books because the plot twists make the story. So it says, on the wind-battered isle of Altnahara, off the wildest coast of Scotland, a clan prepares to bring about the end of the world and its imminent rebirth. The adder is coming, and one of their number will inherit its powers. They all want the honor, but young Eve is willing to do anything for the distinction. A reckoning beyond Eve's imagination begins when the Chief Inspector Black arrives to investigate a brutal murder, and their sacred ceremony goes terribly wrong. And soon, all of the secrets of Altnahara will be uncovered. Obviously, this is going to have some sort of religious twist to it, and sounds a little culty as well. It's going to be told in a literary gothic tale-esque way of storytelling. Like, everything about this sounds like it's going to be a great read for me. And now we're moving on to another little indie bookstore haul that I have from a different indie bookstore here in the city. This is my favorite store to go to get thrifted items, which I found some good ones. I'm really excited about them. This first one, it's a classic. It's a really old paperback. It is Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. I had to get it. It was only $3. And all of the new covers of this book, I'm not a fan of. I thought that this cover was just really classic looking. I loved the spine. And it's one of the classics that I have been told is a great story. Do I know anything about it? No, but it was $3 and now I have it for when I am in a classic reading mood. I wish you could feel this because it is truly something to behold. These pages have been turned a lot. The next one, I was complimented by the bookseller upon checkout, which is always a really good feeling. It is Drifts by Kate Zambrano. This book showed up in my mid-year book freakout tag as well because I'm in love with this cover. My favorite shade of yellow, a dark ominous body of water, which is such a beautiful image. I really, really love this cover. And this book doesn't have many reviews on Goodreads, much like another one I'm gonna mention, but I read the synopsis and it sounds so opportune for what I'm thinking about doing in my life that it felt like this book found me at the right time. You know what I'm saying? So I had to get it. It says, haunting and restlessly brilliant, Kate Zambrano's Drifts is an intimate portrait of reading, writing, and creative obsession. At work on a novel that is overdue, spending long days walking neighborhood streets with her terrier, corresponding ardently with fellow writers, the narrator grows obsessed with the challenge of writing, the present tense of capturing time itself. Entranced by the work of Rainer Maria Rilke, my favorite poet, and others, she photographs the residents and strays off her neighborhood, haunts bookstores and galleries, and records her thoughts in a yellow notebook, subsumes her work on the novel. As winter closes in, a series of disturbances, the appearances and disappearances of enigmatic figures, the burglary of her apartment, leaves her distracted and uncertain, until an intense and tender disruption changes everything. I love how short some of the chapters are. It seems like it's going to be like a stream of consciousness sort of style, and there are actually photographs within the story, which is super fun. It just sounds like like it's going to be my type of book, and Caleb is actually really looking forward to this one as well. I think we're gonna read this one together, which I'm really excited about. The next one is one that I had to get. It was, again, one of those books that I would still be thinking about if I left it at the store. And it's kind of crazy because this book was written in like the 1980s, I think. Yeah, 1982. Have never heard of it. It literally has 14 reviews on Goodreads. That's it. So it's either going to be like really not great or it's a diamond in the rough, and I'm hoping for the latter because since there wasn't many reviews to go off of on Goodreads, I did do a couple like random page turns and read a bunch of little paragraphs here and there. It has a writing style that I really enjoy, and the synopsis was interesting enough for me to purchase it as a thrifted title, and mostly because of the little quote that's in the inside flap. So the book, I'm sorry I didn't even tell you yet, is Ghosts by Marsha Parker. I love this cover. It's like weirdly architectural, you know? It's like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's cool. The quote on the inside says, "The ghosts are everywhere, in a breeze, in a whisper, in a scrap of scribbled paper lying at the bottom of an old box. They are in old barns, in new cellars, in classrooms, in towers, attics, closets, in the very air around us. Ghosts can walk the bare fields, they can walk through walls, and they can step across the centuries as easily as we step over thresholds." I love that. In the story, our main character is very unhappy in her marriage. She realizes that adult married life in a miserably heated house is not all she imagined. So her husband takes her away to this tucked-in inn in the Welsh Hills, in a room designed to resurrect dying marriages with its magical view of Norman Church below. She lies awake well past midnight, and silently as a cat, he comes for her, the beautiful man in armor with exquisitely sorrowful eyes who calls her by name. This is one of the ghosts, I'm assuming. She has seen him before amidst the moldering hay of her parents' Wisconsin barn, twice in the gloom of a dimly lit castle. I don't know what way this story's gonna go, like whether it's going to be more like paranormal or magical realism maybe, who knows? A quote is, "We had to prove that centuries were nonsense, that time was non-existent, death was cruel and unnecessary. We had to prove that I needed him and he needed me, to soothe one another, to wound one another, to love and to hate. Contrary notions, souls in the dark, where all things were possible and probable." The writing is beautiful. Like, I don't know why this book isn't known. Maybe I'll read it and hate it, but I mean, it has writing that I really like, and the cover was beautiful. I had to buy it. This last find, let me tell you, I've been searching high and low for an edition like this, all right? You can't find them for $10 at a thrift store, all right? You can't find it. I found it, but it's really hard to do. Patience is what it takes. These editions go for upwards of $80+ on eBay, all right? I got it for $10. This is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. It is the hardcover edition. You know, it's like tall and skinny. It has the clear dust jacket. You know, you see what I'm saying? Like, wow, so pretty. The purple back, obviously also see-through. And it's a dark academia thriller style book by Donna Tartt. I was so excited to see it there. Like, just tucked away in a corner on one of the random shelves. I couldn't believe it. Was really, really excited. I was like this close to buying one that was $80 on eBay. And I was like, no, I'm gonna wait and see if I actually like the book first before I buy a really expensive edition, right? But for $10, I couldn't put it down. It came home with me. All right, the next couple books are ones that I just purchased, ones that I bought. This first one I'm really upset about because I bought it and didn't know that it was going to be the mass market size. So I'll probably be selling this one and trying to get the bigger real hardcover size because I don't like this size. But it is Age of Myth by Michael J. Sullivan. I hate how small it is. I hate it. I opened up the bag and was really upset. But this is a fantasy series that Reagan from Peruse Projects put on my radar. She's been really loving it and it sounds up my alley. I'm always down to try a new fantasy author and see if I fall in love with the writing and story. Since time immemorial, what? Humans have worshipped the gods they call Frey, truly a race apart, invincible in battle, masters of magic, and seemingly immortal. But when a god falls to a human blade, the balance of power between humans and those they thought were gods changes forever. Now only a few stand between humankind and annihilation. Wraith, reluctant to embrace his destiny as the god killer, Suri, a young seer burdened by signs of impending doom, and Persephone, who must overcome personal tragedy to lead her people. The Age of Myth is over. The time of rebellion has begun. This gives Malice, Faithful in the Fallen series vibes a little bit. Ooh, maybe this will be one that I pick up sooner rather than later. It's the way that I didn't even know what it was about until this very moment, and I was just trusting Reagan. Seems very on brand for me. The next book that I got is Ace by Angela Chen. This book is about what asexuality reveals about desire, society, and the meaning of sex. I started listening to this on audio and got about like 15% of the way through, and then I stopped listening to it because it was so good, and I wanted to get the physical book so that I could actually follow along and like bracket and highlight and annotate. So I got the physical copy and am so excited to go back into this book because it really is written tremendously well. The narrator and the audiobook is phenomenal. I'd already recommend this book, and I've, again, not even finished it yet, but it's beautiful and am really, really excited to finish it. The next one is The Lesbiana's Guide to Catholic School. This was a all greenhouse buddy read this past month for Pride Month. This is a young adult queer coming of age story, which was so much fun. In this story, our main character is Yamilet, and her brother are moving schools to this new, like very rich, mostly white Catholic school. Her brother was getting into a lot of trouble at their old school, and also on Yamilet's front, she told her best friend that she was in love with her, and her best friend basically outed her to the whole school. So both of them were having a rough time at their old school, so they have moved to this new Catholic school, and Yami is trying desperately to keep her queerness under wraps. She doesn't want anyone to know, but what makes it difficult is her new friend, Bo, who is out and proud and just an absolute amazing character. This book talks a lot about familial rejection or acceptance in the coming out sort of sphere, and the familial and friendship dynamics that are written in this book are also really phenomenal. Hard to read at some points, but ultimately so much fun and written so well. I'm very much excited to read other work from this author. Two more to go. This one is The Decagon House Murders by Yukido Ayatsuji. This is a Japanese cult classic mystery. It's basically a And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie retelling, which I haven't read, and I actually just finished this book this morning. In the story, basically there's an island where a gruesome like double homicide suicide took place, and now there's a group of kids who are part of a mystery club at their school. They are taking a week-long like staycation at this island 6 months after that murder took place, and as you can assume, all of these students start getting picked off one by one. Lots of murders, lots of mystery. We're following dual perspectives, and it was really good. It was a lot of fun. The longer that it's sitting with me, the better I feel about it. This book was written really well. The atmosphere was really good. The reveals and the twists were unexpected for me. Again, maybe someone would expect it because they've read And Then There Were None, but I haven't. So I was having a lot of fun with the twists. This cover, this hand is obviously means something specific. It is so beautiful. Love this a lot. The last one, as you can guess, is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. If you didn't know, I did get the beautiful Dragos, and I don't even know if I need to tell you about it because I don't even know if I know what it's about exactly, but I do know that it's sort of like a How to Train Your Dragon, but at a school for dragon riders sort of thing is what I've heard from other booktubers, and it's just really pretty. I'm actually gonna start this one today, and I started a vlog today for it, so be on the lookout. I'm so worried. I'm so nervous that I'm not gonna like it. So we're gonna see how I feel real soon. Those are all the books that I hauled, but I did also just kind of want to share a fun little extra. I had mentioned that I went on vacation to Manistee, Michigan, and we hit up a bookstore, but we also hit up a lot of thrift stores. I just want to show you the two little items that I thrifted that I'm really excited about. I think they're really cute. This is a little like decanter, amber glass, has obviously the little decanter stopper. It looks like a little flame. I love it a lot. I have no idea what I'm gonna put in it. Maybe nothing, who knows? But I really, really love this. And then if you know anything about me, you know that I love ships, and specifically ships with like a lot of sails, classic looking ships. And they had a little ship in a bottle. Would you look at it? It's so stinking cute. It's like actually little sails. I don't know. I was really excited about it. It's so adorable. This was my favorite find of the whole trip. Then if you're on my Instagram, then you already know because I chatted about it there a little bit in a recent post, but I also recently upgraded my Switch from the yellow Switch Lite, which I love. I love the yellow, it's very cute, but I upgraded to the Switch OLED. And wow, wow, what a time to be alive. It truly is an upgrade. I'm having so much fun with it. I am playing Zelda Breath of the Wild right now, trying to do an actual playthrough because I never actually finished it. Obviously playing a lot of Animal Crossing. I also bought Super Smash Bros. And the new Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which I cannot wait to play. Caleb and I are gonna play Smash Brothers as soon as I actually get another set of controllers. I'm gonna beat his ass. But that's it. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me for a little bit. If you are still watching and don't don't really know what to say for the video, leave a newspaper emoji down below in the comments. And while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. I always appreciate your support. And of course, be kind to one another and happy reading. Bye.